Welcome back to the Wolf of Queen Street podcast series. Welcome back to the audio podcast or the YouTube series if you're watching this today. This is an entrepreneurship-based podcast series where we talk to people about their stories, their challenges, and what they've overcome to become successful where they are today in the world of business, online marketing, social media, and so forth. Today, I'm joined by Francesca Moi, who's someone that I met actually at Tony Robbins September last year when she was with Eric Balance, and I'd seen her brand for a few months beforehand. And I must say, actually, Francesca and Eric are a power team at the moment, but I can take my hat off and say Francesca is actually the bigger power in that partnership. I don't think Eric's going to enjoy me saying that, but she is the big powerhouse, the Italian mafia. She owns one of the biggest meetup groups in the entrepreneurship space in Australia, and she'll explain her story at how she started this meetup. I think it's meetup.com, and within 6 months had over 12,000 people had come into the events, and how she could grow her brand from that moment forward with having so many people around her. But anyway, welcome to the show, Francesca.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me, Lawrence. That's a super amazing introduction.
Yep. So as it is, everyone in your circle knows you as the meetup queen, and also knows you as the mafia team or the mafia hub and so forth. So first, to a few people at the moment that are not watching the YouTube series, you can see Francesca is obviously a beautiful Italian woman. So she's come over to Australia and she's brought the mafia with us. But not just the mafia in the bad way, but in the mafia in the good way. So I'll let her the good way. So still to take control and take power, but to improve power and to empower people around these social media platforms, specifically Facebook. So I let her explain to you what mafia means to her and what mafia means to her tribe.
Beautiful. Well, literally the mafia was a little bit of a joke. Like I started this as a life coach 6 years ago, and I was a Tony Robbins fan. I was going through all this personal development stuff, and I was like, wow, like there must be, more things that I can do to grow my business. But in 6 months, I made $120. Like legit. Yeah. So I was like, this is not successful. I need to go back to a job, or I need to stop pretending to have a business and start to make some money. And so I started to study what other people do, especially Tony Robbins. And I found this YouTube video of Tony that had this event in a pub, and he was like in a singlet teaching. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. Like he started with small rooms, like 20 people in a pub. I was like, why do I do that? I can do that. I can do it 5,000 people in my event yet, and nobody knows me, but I can definitely do that. So I got excited, and I started a meetup group inside of meetup.com. So I didn't create meetup.com. I wish someone else did, and I created my meetup group inside of that. And then from there, in 3 months' time, my meetup group exploded, and I started to get people inquiring about my coaching services. And I was like, what is going on? And I got fully booked in 3 months. And so from there, I started to create more meetups in different cities. That's how I grew to 12,000 members. But they don't all show up. I wish, right? So there's a lot of people in the group, but then people don't all of them show up to the event. But the good thing is that from there, the business grew and grew and grew. And that's how I created the mafia, because people were asking me, how do you put bums in seats? How do you get people to these events? You just started this business and people come to see you. How do you do it? And so I created the Meetup and Facebook International Academy, which is the mafia.
The mafia, correct.
Yeah, but at first it was just called mafia because, like you said, I'm Italian, and I'm just like, oh, let's just call it. It's a family, And I used to make the game, whatever happened in the mafia stays in the mafia. Until one client said to me, does this stand for Meetup and Facebook something? And I was like, oh, that's a great idea. Right, so clients give us the best ideas at times, right?
Correct. So, it's great how you said you meet it up, but you formed a group because you saw someone that you looked up to. You saw a mentor doing something a little bit different. And it's sort of something that we see a lot of in today's space. Obviously, Francesca's you've been a coach, a mentor, and doing all the live speaks and most of your events. We do half-day workshops. A lot of people in the game at the moment, in the entrepreneurship game or just in the startup and small business, is they follow one certain model. So they follow the book and say it's A to B to C to D. This is normally how a business runs, and this is how I should do it over the first 30 days or 60 days or 90 days. And unfortunately, unless you're gifted or lucky, things are going to evolve very stagnant for yourself over that path over 12 months or 18 months. Like you used, for example, I think you said $120 or something in the first 6 months because you were trying to follow a standard model and not go outside the box, where you realize that the guys that know what they're doing, the guys or girls that know what they're doing, they did something differently. And it wasn't that it was totally unique. They just wanted people around, because when there were people around and when we are social animals, we can discuss, we can evolve, and we can close deals if there's deals to be had. And that's sort of what you built up with your mafia tribe out of the MeetUp situation with your 12,000 members. And I can tell from that evolution to where you are today, that's what you guys do as a bread and butter. You do your half-day workshops from all those members and you keep going from city to city. Is that not correct?
Yes, that's absolutely right. And obviously from there, I realized that MeetUp by itself wasn't going to cut it. So I created a Facebook group that now has got alone, just one group, 8,500 people. And we got lots and lots and lots of momentum from there because obviously it's my group. And so a lot of people know that I'm the admin of it. They know me, they watch my videos. From there, they follow me. So the both strategies together were able to use organic ways to put bums and seats. Now, obviously, we now have a budget to pay for advertising, but we don't teach that to our clients because I've done it without, right? I've grown the business to a really high six-figure business without any Facebook ads. And now, obviously, that we are a $1.5 million business, and obviously, we do have advertising budgets. Yeah?
Yep. That was something I was going to say, that a lot of what you teach in your program, so obviously Facebook specifically, how to generate business through that, is the organic reach within the social media. So a lot of people forget that Facebook is a little bit harder and a little bit more challenging. So you need the insights from a coach or mentor like Francesca to store that organic area, because unfortunately Facebook has been so saturated by the paid market at the moment. So there is still those loopholes that you can find yourself to go through that will give you those organic ways. And there's simple natures and there's simple insights into it. And and I know in the half-day workshops, this is what you will discuss with the people that sitting with the bums on the seats. But the basic example is what you say to someone is, if you've got a product or if you've got a brand you want to reach out, there's no harm in going out to people within your network and saying to them, hey, if you support my brand, would you be willing to share that? Would you be able to do a share post on, on social media or write it up or write a review or review my product? And that's way is, something simple from organic, from a brand point of view, to build the awareness, because people need to trust a brand to be able to buy from the brand. And if you don't have anyone backing you or anyone talking about it, you're not going to close any deals.
Yeah, absolutely. The beautiful thing about using organic ways is that we teach that people come to you. You don't have to go and ask for things. People will start to go, oh my goodness, I've been following you. It's been amazing, and people will start to give you reviews. People will start to share your stuff. And it happens all the time that without me asking, people go, oh my God, like that was so good, I have to share it. And so it's about showing up, and the showing up will create that compound effect that eventually will create a business. And that's what a lot of people don't see. Like a lot of people start diets and then don't see a change in the body in 3 days and they stop the diet and they keep eating. Right? And that's the same in business. The organic ways work, but people want to go into a shortcut, which is paying for advertising. But then the thing is, if you're a startup, can you really afford to compete with businesses that have got thousands and thousands and thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars every month in advertising budget? If you can't, then don't even try that, and just be humble and consistent into your approach.
Correct. Yeah, because the problem you also have with a small startup or any brand that does go into the paid space too early, they don't realize what they're doing wrong. So I can go into a paid space on Facebook. I can go into a paid space, and if I'm willing to spend $50, let's say if I go to $50 in the total wrong niche, network, gender, and stereotype, or what I want to pick on advertising, I can still get 10,000 for $50. You can get anywhere up to 20 to 30,000 likes, maybe 1,000 shares and mentions on it. So when you look at the post, you'll go, holy crap, it's had 30,000 engagements on it. It's had 5,000 shares. It must be good. But with no understanding of what your end customer is, or an understanding of what you're actually doing, that beginning part of that paid sponsorship is totally wrong. So you go in, hey, it's working, I'm going to keep following this model, and you reach an audience that has nothing back to your business. They're just engaging with that comment, with that post at the moment because they look cool or did something, but they're never going to come back and buy your brand, support your brand, or buy your product or go to your webinars. Is that something that you would see from some of your customers at the moment?
Yeah, well, we get people that have tried it all. They've tried to fill the events and they couldn't, tried to fill workshops and they couldn't get anybody there. And so they started to believe that it wasn't possible, that unless you had, $100,000 a year to put in Facebook advertising, you couldn't be able to put bums and seats, which is not true. Because you can do it organic ways. But the thing is, people have lost trust that if they're not already famous, they can't get there. And that is not the truth. We get lots of clients that get really, really massive success by organic strategies. The key is consistency. And it's fascinating because people go, what do you mean? Like, you teach people, you can't say that your biggest secret is consistency. Well, yes, it is. It is because people, if they don't have a coach or someone to keep them accountable, they don't do it. They give up way too early. They find all negative stuff in it, and they just not committed to their own success. So having a coach will be able to take you there. And so advertising works if you have already done the homework, right? So when I first started doing Facebook advertising, my Facebook ad company was like, wow, I wish all my clients were like you, Francesca, because it's just easy. It's easy to pull bums and sit for you because people must have seen you before. And that's because I was like a crazy woman posting every day, everywhere. And so then when I started to pay for advertising, people already saw my face, people already recognized me, people already heard about me. And so they go, oh, now she started to advertise. And so they start to, see that consistency advertising, and that's when they start to follow me. But the problem is that people do on Facebook advertising and they do, oh, I'm going to pay for Facebook advertising. And guess what? I did that mistake. Now that I pay for Facebook advertising, I'm going to do nothing. I'm not going to be active on social media. I don't need to. I don't have to. And the thing is that they don't understand that unless you keep putting more money and you're just doubling your budget every year, Facebook eventually is going to stop showing you to people. And so, or what happens as well is that if people click on you, they will stalk you, right? Everybody can stalk people before they buy something. And if they stalk and they don't see anything about you, like nothing at all, they're going to think, oh, that's not real. That doesn't exist. That's not true that they're successful. So for people nowadays, numbers equal success. So they don't see a lot of likes, engagement, comments. They're thinking, no, you're not successful. Even though it's not true, that's what people are showing.
It is a challenge, for most brands in that sense. Like you said, is if there's not like a lot of likes and comments and shares and so forth, the perception of the brand isn't strong in that, and it's a challenge to overcome. But it's also a challenge as the brand owner, the business owner, to keep to the track. But the biggest thing is that a lot of people forget about is that it takes time. Everything takes time to put it into place. So you've got to follow the framework that is recommended, the whatever step process you follow in whichever brand so whichever coaching you'll have a step process to put into place, and then give it time to embed it. It's not going to necessarily happen in a week or 2 weeks that your business is going to go from $100 a week to $10K a week. It's going to take 4 to 12 weeks likely to embed what you're trying to achieve. And then right at the end, on your sort of 6 or 9 month mark, is when the light bulb's going to happen. All of a sudden, the waterfall is just going to turn on. And a lot of the coaches that I speak to, they've had that same thing when they've implemented for themselves. They said, hey, we implemented, we waited, we followed. And it's a person that waits and supports and, like you say, is consistent at one moment, whether it's 90 days, 120 days, or 180 days, all of a sudden it just goes light bulb. And you just see them going, holy shit, I just filled out an event in 1 week. I couldn't fill out an event in 6 months. I just sold out my webinar in, 24 hours because something just happened. And it was that moment when people started seeing more of them and can see in the historical content, like you said, the brand and message being behind them.
Yeah. It's the tipping point, the tipping point happens in everything. Like you lose weight and then, you sort of see the change on your clothes, but you can't tell from the outside. until you reach a tipping point. Everybody goes, oh my goodness, you lost weight. And you go, well, I've been losing weight for like in the last 6 months. But how come you just notice? Because the eyes also have that tipping point, right? So it happens in everything that we do. The thing is that unfortunately sometimes as business owners, when things get tough, we just think, what do I do this for?
Yep.
So we forget our why. We forget the real reason why we do business. And also a lot of people don't have the real reason. They just want lifestyle and money. And if you want lifestyle, then probably business is not the right thing to start, especially for the first few years, right?
Totally agree with that. So one thing that's big about your brand and anyone that's following knows, as you said, your coach, obviously there's always the one-on-ones, this is a private sessions, but yourself and the empowering events and or your half-day workshops is fundamentally what most people publicly see, right? So you go on stage, you do half-day workshops, most of your social media is filled with the videos and people out there. One question to ask as a person that at the moment has yet to do a public event myself, other than attend ones, and to a lot of people that are listening with the same example is, hi, what is the insight you can take to transition from standing on one-to-one to standing on a stage with 50 people, 100 people, and being able to still present the same message, but without imploding, anxiety, stress, what's the tips and timing you can take through to be able to transition from behind a camera to on a stage?
That's a really good question. So I feel that people wait until they know how to speak on stage before get on stage. And I find that very funny because imagine if you want to learn how to go on a bicycle, right? Do you go on bicycles?
Yeah. And you fall over.
Did you?
No, I'm saying, you go on a bicycle and then you fall over.
Yeah, of course, you got it. And so the thing is, people think that, oh, no, I'm not going to get on a bicycle until I know exactly how to ride it, right? And you do all this, you listen to people, they tell you what to do, and then you go on it. What are the chances that you're going to fall? Like, probably 95%, right?
Yep.
So the thing is, my first events were a disaster. Like a disaster. Like the first one, I cried, and instead of speaking for 10 minutes on stage, I spoke for 30 seconds and I left because I was crying and I couldn't speak anymore. And that was in Italy, in Italian. So imagine like when I started to speak in English, I was like, oh my goodness, people needed subtitles, they won't get me, right? It was really hard. And the difference between someone that speak on stage and someone that doesn't is that they have done it. They've done it over and over and over again and failed so many times, and eventually they realize what to do and how to do it. So I did so much studying while I was doing it, like studying on myself. So I remember like this time that I had a meetup happening and I was on a Zoom call with the friend, actually the friend Spanish. So imagine like a Spanish telling Italian how to speak English, right? That was a disaster already. And my friend, by the end of me doing my 15-minute presentation, he was like this. And he was like, oh my goodness, Francesca, that was horrible. And I was like, okay, I chose you because you're honest, but can you record it a little bit? That's like, I was in tears. I was like, how am I going to present tomorrow night? Like if my friend think that this is horrible, imagine strangers, right? And I didn't want to go on stage and I wanted to give up and I wanted to go back to a job. But the thing is, I kept looking at the bigger picture and I kept thinking, hold on a second. If I am helping people one-on-one and they're saying that they find them valuable, I can do this one-to-many. Like I just had to fail and eventually I will get it. And so I started to record myself every single speech, every single time I was on stage, every single time I would talk to one-to-many, every single time. And I used to record it and I used to go home exhausted because once you speak on stage, you really you use a lot of energy, especially at the beginning. You don't know what you're doing. I used to go home exhausted and I used to, before I go to bed, I used to listen back, take notes on how I could improve it, what else I could have done. And I wasn't hard on myself. I was literally studying what people were laughing at, what people were not laughing at, what I could do again, what I shouldn't be doing again. And then I will do the presentation again and I will record it again and I will start it. Like that was so much work, like literally so much work, but was so worth it because the feedback that I get a lot from people when I'm on stage, they said I'm engaging, the people I can't, stop listening, and maybe it's my accent, maybe whatever it is, but it's really like it became like a second nature. I love being on stage, and that's why people feel that passion.
Yep.
And apparently they say that I'll get a lot of energy out there, and they really love it. So, but it wouldn't happen at the beginning. That was horrible, like horrible.
That's I think it's great. Just get out there, do that, and learn from it, and fail forward, and then evolve to where you are. But one thing, and a question for yourself is, and what your recommendation is, because a lot of times you can go to workshops where they teach you how to speak on stage. You can go to all this sort of stuff, and they try to give you this again. It's an A to Z model of you should speak on stage. Don't make noises with your mouth. Don't go Don't do anything weird. Stand there. Don't cuss. Don't swear. I mean, for fuck's sakes, I swear all the time. But it's like, what's your opinion on when you speak to people about keeping to real to what they are? So I try and tell to anyone I speak to and say, keep it real. There's obviously certain tips if you want to talk to someone or when you speak to a certain person, certain tips, but keep to your personality and your style, because otherwise you just become a sort of a white paper of knowledge with no emotion behind it.
Absolutely. I don't 100%. I don't believe in fake it until you make it. I believe in just real. Yep. And the thing is that being real is very vulnerable for some people, and they're really afraid of doing that, especially because they haven't worked out who they are. And that's something that I used to struggle with a lot when I wasn't confident, because I wanted to be who my dad wanted me to be instead of be really myself. And so I find it fascinating because I literally was listening to a podcast the other day about authenticity and what authenticity is. And people think that, people tell me all the time, Francesca, you're so authentic. And I had to stop about it and think, what does that mean? Yep. Because lately I've changed a lot, right? So I've lost 19 kilos. I've got into a relationship. I was single before. So a lot of my identity has changed from who I used to be, a single woman, overweight, that used to eat a lot of pasta and pizza, to now being a fit, woman in a partnership and happy and, like totally different. So health and fitness is really important to me now. And so it's sort of like I changed identity. And so does it mean that I'm not authentic anymore? No, it doesn't. It's just now I've changed. So it's a very fine line between the, being fake and being authentic and accepting your changes as well. And that's what people don't want to do on stage. They don't want to show vulnerability. They don't want to show who they really are. They're not willing to share the bad times, the good times, the hard times. They just want to look perfect. But nobody resonates with someone that is perfect. Nobody will enjoy going to a movie and watch a movie that started with a beautiful couple that are in love and then it ends with a beautiful couple that are in love. You'd be like, that's boring.
Yeah.
Like, give me some, ups and downs. Give me something that is going to be like, Tony Robbins talk about that.
Yep, totally. One thing I wanted to ask as well, and I noticed something you spoke about on a podcast you done a while ago, is about yourself, and you obviously big thing is mindset, and we've touched on a little bit at the moment about having the right mindset and so forth, but also your mental health, your understanding your business. You spoke about at that stage that you actually had your own two coaches, or you actually had your own two mentors, one for business and one for personal. Is that something? Sorry?
Oh, yes.
Yes. Is that something you still keep at the moment? Because it's just something that a lot of people ask about that have coaches or have people that help them out and going, hey, I've got this person helping me for my business and everything else. Can I utilize this person for personal situations and my personal drive in that? And it's my opinion. Again, it's my opinion, and it's not the worldwide opinion, but those are two different areas and those are two different unique spaces. So unless this person that's offering you has both hats, which very, very rarely they do, is you would have two different individuals helping you in those two different channels. And I just wanted to ask you about that, because you mentioned that you did have two, and I wanted to see if it was still that way active today and your thoughts of having two different coaches for those areas.
Yeah, Lawrence, I actually have more than two. I must be a little bit slower than other people. I love being coached, and I love growth, and I'm addicted to it. Like
Mm-hmm.
I just can't spend a month without learning something
Yep.
new, without growing the next little bit. So for me, mindset is super important. And if you can tell from my business, the time that I haven't done some work on myself, you
Mm-hmm.
see how the business was affected from it as
Yep.
well. So I believe the business and mindset are exactly the same thing. So personal and business, it is the same. But what the problem is that a lot of people invest into a business coach, but they never invest on their mindset. And if the mindset is about business or personal, it doesn't really matter, because I believe that it's all the same. But you got to work on yourself to be able to get to the next level of your life or your business. You got to get to the next level of learning who you are and changing identity. And as the business grows, my goodness, how many identity guys shared.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when I look back, I should just write a book of all my identities, right? Because it's literally, and what's fascinating is that with every identity, there is not just a shift in me, but a shift in the team, in the shift in the clients. And so you will see that it's like this period where all of a sudden it feels like everything is ending. You're losing clients, everybody's leaving, clients have wanted to get refunds, team members are quitting altogether, and you go, oh my God, it's the end, right? And you just think that everything is over. But the truth is that you just reached a new level of vibration, a new level of identity. And now with the new identity, some people don't fit in anymore, and it just can't be in the same vibration. It just need to go. And that is okay.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
Yeah, I mean, that's just the evolution of the process and the learning through it. You know, nothing's the same today that it was yesterday. Nothing will be the same tomorrow from today. And it's just understanding and having the skill sets to see through that, and the challenges that a lot of the small business owners that come in and looking for the guidance. And I can imagine, I want to talk about a couple of examples. I want to ask a couple of questions and see if you can help out on this, because to a lot of our listeners at the moment, they can tell, you know, that you're helping people out in the Facebook space. You know, you have massive meetups, you do the half-day workshops. But I want to talk through a bit of what sort of some journeys would go through so people can be more relatable to it. So, for example, I can assume that there will be someone coming up to your half-day workshop going, I own a small business, whether it's self-employed, irrespective of one person, two people, three people. I've got no understanding about the Facebook game. I have no understanding about that social media platform. It's just something I never kept important to us. What's the sort of main key points, not giving away all the tools and all the sort of sets, what's the sort of one or two main key points you would give to that person to focus on the first 4 weeks or 6 weeks or 8 weeks around the Facebook space?
So I have an invisible to invincible journey that I've created to explain to people where they're at on the social media. So a lot of people, as you said, come to us in the different stages of the business, and it could be people that already have a really successful business, but they're still invisible on social media. So the invisible to invisible journey has got nothing to do with the bank account or with the cash flow or with the how much money they're making, but it's about where are they at in the following on social media, especially on Facebook. So we have to, the first thing that we do is that we do an invisible to invincible test to see where they're at in the Facebook journey. So they can actually, we can put them in the right Zoom call where I will give them steps on how to go to the next level. And that is super important. So let's pretend that someone, no matter where they're at in the business, on Facebook, they're invisible. So invisible means that they post on there every now and again and then get nowhere. They got no content, no people commenting, no people liking, and it feels quite lonely and quite frustrating. How do these people do this posting stuff? I don't get it. And so they give up, right? Because the platform is too difficult, or then they start to tell stories to themselves like, my clients are not in there, right? My clients are an age and are not in there, which is not true. And so fascinating how we always create excuses to explain where we're at, right? And so for invisible people, the first thing that we get them to do is to friend people on their Facebook. So every time that they are meeting someone, every time that they're going to a networking event, every time that they get a client, start to friend them on Facebook and literally become friends. And that's what a lot of people have a lot of resistance around. They go, what? I need to friend my clients.
Yeah.
No. So for me, Facebook, it's a business tool. It's not a personal tool. I don't use it for personal. I mean, I'm Italian and I've got my family is in Italy, so we connect on WhatsApp, we connect on Viber, but we don't. They follow me on Facebook and they love following my journey. So a lot of the time we think that our parents or family, they don't want to see what we do, but they do. And so it's so important to grow your numbers of friends of Facebook. Like every time we tell that to clients, they at first going, this is silly, why we have to do that? And when they do it, their business start to go to a whole new level, because now people are started to watch you, they started to get to know you, they started to, right, so you teach that, I didn't know what your business was about. And so adding value on your personal profile will allow people to trust you, like you, and see you, and Facebook algorithm are on your side. When you post on a business page, Facebook says, show me the money and I'll show you to people. If you show me the money, I'm going to keep you invisible. Instead, in the personal profile, Facebook wants to help you, because the more engagement they have, the more money they can charge for Facebook advertising.
Correct.
So,
and it's something you'll see, it's something that's quite interesting as myself, trying to look through different profiles. So if you go into someone's private page on Facebook, you obviously you can see how many friends they have, and you can also see how many followers they have if they've got it switched on. And it's funny because I think a mental way is that if you go into a person's profile and a person's got 3,000 or 4,000, so to people that's listening, the maximum amount of friends you can have on Facebook is 5,000 friends. And then some people even start second or third private pages. I've known a few people that have done that. But what you then, but then what you do is you can switch your follows on, so people then get 2,000 or 3,000 or 4,000 followers. But what you see sometimes, if you go into a person's page and they've got 400 friends and they've got 5 followers, doesn't give you much confidence. But if you go into someone's page and they've got 3,500 friends and they've got 1,000 followers, all of a sudden, irrespective of who those people actually are, whether they're real or not, the perception that there's more people behind this person gives you a bigger, almost like a trust in them, their name or their brand. And it's definitely something that you see of getting, I've slowly started to see in the last 6 months of more people requesting or more people wanting to follow myself or request myself. In that instance, that it slowly starts picking up, and once it gets a certain number, every couple of days, it's more and more and more. So, like I said, I can imagine from a brand point of view, then if you're bringing out the content on your private page, that is there. I'm guessing there's a certain stage that if a person is running a business page, that you're going to try and get him to convert their private following or their private people to try organically, without spamming them, to push them over to the business page. Is that not?
That will happen organically by having your about you in your personal profile set up properly. So if about you, it will say that you work for your business page, then people automatically will go there. So I haven't paid any advertising money at all into growing my 8,500 likes that I have on my business page. It was just organic from my followers, from the people that watch me, from the people that join my Facebook group. So once people start to grow a bigger number, we always recommend, which actually we teach, how to create a Facebook group that rocks. So a Facebook group that really gets you results, that gets you clients. And so I will concentrate more into advertising the Facebook group than advertising the business page. Just business page, we just leave it organically for people to do that. Also, when you start a Facebook group, you should create your business page managing the group. So people go into your group, they will see on the right-hand side, this page is managed by Francesca Moi, the MeetUp Queen. So people will go, oh, who's that? And so they're going to be able to click on it, and that's how you get more people. So having a group is way more powerful than trying to send people into the business page, in my opinion.
Yeah, totally. I see a lot of pages. I can put my hand up at the moment and say I'm one of those people that don't have it yet. I need to get my integer and get into place to get a group going behind my page as well. But you definitely see there's a lot of, in the podcast space, a lot of pages that I follow, a lot of brands I follow that have the groups that stand behind it, because also then there can be direct communication to your customers or to your fans. So when you're communicating out on a page, doesn't necessarily mean it's going to reach everyone. If you do it in the group, you have a higher chance, and there's better feedback as well and better control, because you can allow people to have their say, but also you can control what is said back, right? So you can remove the spam, remove the advertising, remove all of that, but you allow the people in the group to feel part of a group, part of a tribe, and feel empowered by the brand as well.
Absolutely.
So before we end off today's session, there's so much insight you've given already for people wanting to build up their Facebook brand and their business and so forth around your brand. Give me one point today, what you think is something, a learning someone should take away with him over the next few days, next few weeks to think about around their business and Facebook, or their brand and Facebook, let's say that.
Yeah, so once you have grown a little bit your personal profile and started to get momentum, then it's time to really start to leverage on doing Facebook Lives consistently. And that's something that a lot of people go, no, I'm not going to do a Facebook Live. I'm going to look silly. I don't want to do that. And I get that Facebook Live can be daunting and scary, but the thing is, people will watch it and they will see the real you, and they will see that vibe, that energy that you can't write. You can't put into a post, right? Or you can, but then people are not going to stop and read a post if they haven't known you, if they don't know who you are. So now starting to do Facebook Lives will take things to a whole new level, and literally like the consistency of it is what will change. If you do one Facebook Live, nothing's going to change. But if you start to do Facebook Live consistently, then that will start to get people to really get to know you, trust you, and that's where you're going to create even more momentum into your business. Now, where you're going to do Facebook Lives? In your personal profile. I know everybody hates that. Like, no, that's where friends and family are. I'm like, sorry, but that's where people, especially Facebook, is going to help you to be seen. It's going to help you to send your Facebook Live everywhere. So it's super, super, super important to start to get over yourself and the Facebook Lives. And I always say that to my clients in a loving way, like, get over yourself. What that means for me is, if you don't feel, if you're listening to this and you go like, no, I'm not one of those that does Facebook Live, then making it about you instead of making it about your audience, right? Because for me, showing up on Facebook Live, it's about adding value. It's about showing up for my audience. It's about giving. And you don't have to go live every day, but at least at the beginning, a couple of times a week, 2 or 3 times a week, especially 3 times a week, will get you the momentum and will get you people to go, all right, and listen to your content and start to find it valuable. Now, the first few Facebook Lives are going to be really bad, but guess what? Nobody's going to watch them, so you'll be fine.
Pretty much.
Yeah, and then you start doing that and they get better and better and better, and then you can start to talk and read comments and start to be able to multitask a little bit more, and that's when it gets more engaging, and that's when you're going to start to get results. So if you haven't started to do Facebook Lives yet, I would strongly recommend to start looking into do it, watch what other people are doing, if you want to come and see mine and see how they do it, and make it like not just professional. Like, I do a lot of my videos here with my backdrop, but I also do videos in the street as I'm walking my dog, or somewhere else. So just be you and start to show up on videos a lot.
I love that. I think that's a great message, and a simple message that costs nothing other than your time to do it on Facebook, and how to reach more people at the moment on a very saturated space for any brands or any pages that are listening at the moment. But thank you so much, Francesca. Before we end off today's session, can you let all our listeners know where they can find you?
Yes, I would love to. Yeah, so we have an Entrepreneurs Abundance Mindset Facebook group with 8,500 people where you can advertise your business. So come in there, and every Friday and Tuesday you can advertise your business, which is great leverage for you. If you want, I just launched a mastermind, so I would love to see anybody interested in that. So just message me in Francesca Moi, the MeetUp Queen.
Thank you so much, Francesca. As always, your content or your links will be on the social media pages when I launch out the podcast, so people know where to come find you. And to everyone else that has come onto the show today, thank you again for listening to the Wolf of Queen Street, the podcast audio series or the YouTube series. And as always, I ask, I don't ask for anything. I don't ask for money. All I say is, if you enjoy the show, you enjoy what we had to say, just tell one person to come on over, to come support and come listen to what we're trying to do and how to show the world to be successful with a few basic steps from the entrepreneurs that are on the show. And it's as easy as that. But anyway, at the end of the day, have a beautiful and powerful day. We'll chat to you later. Bye.
Bye.